As Jungkook approaches the end of his mandatory military service, tension brews behind the scenes, not from the agency itself, but from a growing rift between his mother and Bigot's founder, Bang Si-hyuk. Rumor suggests that his mother has strongly opposed the terms of Jungkook's post-discharge contract, accusing the agency of exploiting him and pressuring him into another multi-year commitment. This personal dispute has allegedly escalated to the point where Jungkook is now seriously reconsidering his future with the company. Insiders hint that this conflict may be the final straw in a long-simmering disagreement over Jungkook's artistic direction, autonomy, and mental well-being. If true, fans may witness the unthinkable: Jungkook stepping away from the agency, and perhaps even BTS itself, not because of scandal, but out of loyalty to his mother and a desire to reclaim control over his own life. The emotional weight behind this potential decision cannot be overstated. Jungkook, once the youngest and now arguably the most influential member of BTS, has spent over a decade under the structure, expectations, and intense spotlight of Bigot. But now, for the first time, the one force that seems to be pushing him toward a radical break isn't internal doubt or industry politics, but a mother's voice urging her son to protect his freedom and dignity. According to confidential sources within the industry, things began to unravel shortly after Bigot drafted Jungkook's post-discharge contract. The terms, while financially generous, reportedly included exhaustive international schedules, an aggressive solo rollout plan, and creative limitations that left little room for personal downtime. When Jungkook shared the proposal with his mother, who has remained a steadfast, often private presence in his life, she was reportedly livid. She believes her son has already given everything to this company, one insider close to the family revealed. She watched him sacrifice his youth, his health, his relationships, and his privacy. And now, right when he's finally free from military duty, they want to chain him again with something even heavier. The insider continued, "This isn't just about a contract. This is about a mother drawing the line, saying, 'Enough is enough.'" What makes this situation even more volatile is the personal tension said to exist between Jungkook's mother and Bang Si-hyuk himself. While the two had reportedly maintained cordial interactions in the past, the current negotiations have allegedly turned hostile. Several whispers suggest that during a private meeting, one that was never meant to be public, Bang Si-hyuk may have dismissed her concerns in a way that was perceived as disrespectful. Jungkook, caught in the middle, is said to be devastated. Loyal both to the agency that made his dreams a reality and to the woman who raised him, he now faces a decision that will define not only his next chapter, but perhaps the future of BTS itself. The conflict has sent ripples through the company. Executives are reportedly scrambling to contain the situation before it explodes publicly. Backup plans are being drafted, alternate comeback lineups, revised tour structures, contingency media statements. But none of these scenarios can truly replace Jungkook. Not in presence, not in artistry, and certainly not in the hearts of fans. Meanwhile, ARMY across the globe is beginning to catch on. Cryptic hashtags like #ProtectJungkook, #NotYourPuppetJK, and #Bang Si-hyuk apologize have begun trending sporadically, even without an official statement. The silence from Jungkook only fuels the speculation. No Weverse posts, no Instagram stories, no TikTok cameos. It's the kind of silence that doesn't feel peaceful, but protective. Observers note that if Jungkook does walk away from Bigot, it would mark one of the most dramatic shifts in K-pop history. Not because an idol left their agency, but because he would be doing it not for money, fame, or controversy, but because he chose his own voice over an empire. There's also a deeply human layer to all of this. Jungkook isn't just a pop icon. He's someone's son. And in the quiet conversations behind every stage performance, there has always been a mother watching from afar, praying that her child doesn't lose himself in the spotlight. Now, with the contract signed and his discharge date looming, the clock is ticking. Will Jungkook bow to the industry machine once more? Or will he do the unthinkable, turn away from it all, stand beside his mother, and walk into the unknown? Only one thing is certain: if he leaves, he won't slam the door. He'll close it quietly, out of respect. But the impact? It will echo louder than any encore BTS has ever performed. In the days following the internal leak of Jungkook's stalled contract talks, the industry has gone eerily quiet, but underneath that calm is a brewing storm. Several entertainment journalists, though unofficially gagged from speaking publicly, have confided that something unprecedented is happening behind HYB's heavily guarded walls. It's not just about paperwork anymore, one insider claimed. It's about trust. And that trust may already be broken. Bigot has always prided itself on fostering a family-like atmosphere among its artists, often showcasing the close relationships between members and management as a selling point to both fans and investors. But now, the spotlight has turned inward. Behind the polished press releases and curated vlogs lies a tension that even years of brand building cannot disguise. At the center of that tension is Jungkook's mother, a woman fiercely protective of her son, now seen by some as a threat to the very structure that made him a global icon. Sources say that during one particularly heated meeting, Jungkook's mother directly challenged Bang Si-hyuk's vision for her son's post-military activities. She allegedly raised concerns about his mental health, the unrealistic demands of the proposed schedule, and the lack of time allowed for rest or personal growth. Her question, "Do you see my son as a human or just a product?" is said to have left the room in stunned silence. The response from Bang Si-hyuk remains unclear, but the aftermath was immediate. Further negotiations were postponed, meetings were cancelled, and Jungkook withdrew from all scheduled private briefings. The company, which had prepared a massive welcome back campaign for the idol, now faces the possibility that there may be no comeback to promote. The ripple effect is staggering. Stockholders are reportedly demanding clarity. Brands lined up for new endorsements are growing restless. Even Netflix, allegedly in early talks for a Jungkook-centered documentary, has paused progress pending resolution of the conflict. This isn't just a contractual dispute, it's a potential cultural fracture at the core of the world's biggest boy group. And then there's BTS. While the rest of the members have remained publicly supportive and neutral, fans notice subtle changes. RM, during a recent live stream, appeared unusually somber when Jungkook's name was mentioned. Jimin, long seen as Jungkook's emotional anchor, has not spoken about his best friend in over a month. Some interpret this as quiet solidarity. Others worry it's a sign of a deeper internal divide. What makes this situation so unique is the role that family is playing. In K-pop, parents often remain behind the scenes, seldom interfering in public negotiations. But Jungkook's mother, according to fans who followed the group since debut, has always been an unseen force in his life. From handwritten support letters during his trainee days to emotional moments backstage, she's been a constant, even if invisible, presence. Now, she stepped forward. And in doing so, she may be the only person in Jungkook's orbit willing to say no when the world expects him to say yes. But what happens if Jungkook sides with her completely? There are whispers, unconfirmed but persistent, that Jungkook is considering rejecting the contract outright and stepping away from the entertainment industry temporarily. Not permanently, but long enough to heal, reflect, and reset his purpose. A source close to the family shared that he has recently been researching alternative creative outlets, filmmaking, independent choreography, even vocal mentoring. He's not quitting music, the source clarified. He's just done letting others dictate how and when he should create. If true, this could be the birth of a new era, not just for Jungkook, but for the next generation of idols watching closely. For years, K-pop has run on a system that often demanded silence, sacrifice, and absolute submission to management. But Jungkook's possible stand, motivated by something as personal and sacred as a mother's concern, could signal a cultural shift. Already, fans have mobilized in support. Hashtags like #WeStandWithJungkook, #RespectJKSChoice, and #LetHimBreathe trend nightly across multiple countries. Fan forums are ablaze with petitions urging Bigot to renegotiate, to apologize, to rethink their approach entirely. Even rival fandoms, usually divided by competition, have joined the chorus. Because what Jungkook represents now isn't just BTS or HYB. It's every artist who has ever felt voiceless. As the day of his official discharge nears, tension builds. Will HYB double down, or will they bend before one of the most powerful forces in an idol's life, a mother protecting her son? Will Jungkook reclaim his narrative with a surprise public message? Or will he simply step out of those military gates, not into the spotlight, but into a long overdue silence of his own choosing? There's an old saying, sometimes the loudest message is the one not spoken. And if Jungkook walks past the cameras without saying a word, the world will still hear him loud and clear.